Right, we're going to fade that track out here on Zone Radio. That was Ready for the World and I Love You Down. And the reason that we are fading it out is simply because we have already connected with Francois Roux. And Francois is the man who owns Cash Crusaders in the mall. You've walked past it many, many times on your way to Pick and Pay. And I'm sure that many of us have been in there, including myself. I just want to stop the song so that it doesn't get in our way as we say good afternoon to Francois. Good afternoon, Francois.
Hi, Richard. Are you good?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, but I'm very intrigued to know what's on your T-shirt. It's cut off halfway on my screen, so I want to see what's standing on your T-shirt.
It says there that you must never underestimate the power of stupid people in large crowds or large numbers or something like that.
I'll keep that in mind throughout this interview, Richard.
That's what it says. All right, so good to have you with us. Now, let me just give you the background to this. Francois has recently been nominated or voted in as the chairman of the False Pay Business Network. Congratulations for that, Francois.
Thanks. Thank you.
For those who don't know what the False Pay Business Network is, I would suggest that you go and check out their website and you can find out more there. We are running a campaign on Zone Radio to increase the awareness and public image of that organization. And Francois has just been appointed, as I say, chairman. But apart from that, he is also the owner of a business in the mall, and that business is one that we have all walked past and most of us have probably been in, and that is a Cash Crusaders. What's the background to your involvement in a Cash Crusaders, Francois?
Yeah, Richard, thank you for that introduction. I just want to maybe say something about the False Pay Business Network. I joined the False Pay Business Network back in 2001. I think it's the very first thing that I did when I arrived in Fish Hoek. I knew nobody in the valley. Well, I knew one guy, and he said, maybe as a new business owner in the valley, you should join the False Pay Business Network. Been there now almost 20 years. A wonderful group of businesses throughout the years, and I've got a list of all the businesses in the False Pay Business Network in my house, in my mom's house up the road, and whenever we need any service or product or whatever, we just call a member of the False Pay Business Network. We know we're going to get a fair deal and we know we're going to get good service. So I'm really a proud member of the False Pay Business Network. I've been chairman before, and I'm looking forward to another year of being part of that wonderful group of businesses. And for your listeners, if you are looking for a service in the Valley, look no further. I think we almost have every single industry represented at the False Pay Business Network. But in terms of Cash Crusaders, Richard, yes, I moved to Cape Town or Fish Hoek in 2001 when they built Long Beach Mall. Mm-hmm. So what happened was I visited the Valley in 2000 and they were busy building Long Beach Mall. Now I was looking at Cash Crusaders as a business, and I thought, this is a good spot and a good mall. This would be an ideal place for a Cash Crusaders. And we opened our doors on the very first day that the mall opened their doors, which was on 10 April 2001, 10 days late. And yeah, that's really been a lovely little business. And, I so value the customers from the Valley and so many. I was in there this morning and I just, again, only been back in business now for the second day after lockdown, recognized all the regular and familiar faces in my shop and really people with whom we've built wonderful relationships over the years, and from a wide variety of market representation, and it's really wonderful to be back in business.
Where were you before you came to the Valley, Francois?
Yeah, interesting, Richard. I was a military man. I served in the military for 13 years. Some of the guys did national service and got out of there as soon as they could. I started national service and I thought I really like this place, but I always joke about it. I say I was in the army of the old South Africa and the army of the new South Africa. So basically 50-50 between the two of them. But I became a senior officer in the military, and I left the military in January 1999. Mm-hmm. And then I ventured off in own business. I was in Oudtshoorn at the time. Back at the infantry school, so ventured off in own business in Oudtshoorn. And while I was in Oudtshoorn in business, we started to look at bigger, better business prospects in in Cape Town. And as an old Gauteng boykie, I said to my wife, you know, when I look at business in Cape Town, I better look at a franchise business, because I don't have a network in Cape Town. I don't know people in Cape Town. I don't know, as a military man, I don't know business all that well. So maybe just a good idea to buy into a franchised system. And, you know, this was before the days of Google and all that. So I really took out the yellow pages and started to phone franchises. And yeah, the response from Cash Crusaders back at the time was just the response of a group of guys really wanting to do business. And you know, I partnered with them without giving it too much thought. You know, everything just made sense to me in terms of the business model. The finances made sense. And I really like the leadership style that I found in Cash Crusaders, and those directors are still leading the business, and they're still building the business. They're still plowing back into the business, and yeah, I've been a happy franchisee in the Cash Crusaders group now for almost 20 years.
It's a rare thing to be a happy franchisee in a lot of these franchises, but I must say that I know a couple of people in the same business in Cash Crusaders. And I must say, in the main, they are happy, and they are very, very impressed, like you are, with the leadership of the business. Just explain to people the model. Now, it's unlikely that anybody listening to us doesn't understand how this works, but it's a sort of in the back door, out the front door. It's a really interesting consumer model, and a very interesting procurement model that kind of combines in the middle with some really good deals on all. Just explain to people the concept so that they get a handle on it.
Yeah, Richard, no, it's a wonderful business concept, and it really just, you know, gave structure on a very old business model. I'm sure that our grandparents will tell about the pawn shop and the second-hand business and all of that. And my favorite TV show a few years back on the History Channel was those guys from the pawn shop in Las Vegas. I loved watching that. So I said to my wife, and I watched that for hours on end. I said, you know, it's in-house training. You know, I'm busy with training. But
what fascinates me about those guys is that they always know like what the value of something is. You can't pull them all over their eyes. But anyway, yeah.
I don't think you must be fooled by reality TV too much, Richard. Look, the business, our business is an interesting one, and it evolved over the years, and it's still evolving. And I hope I'll have time to tell you about our latest project. But we run on 3 different profit centers. Now, when I started out, we only had 2 profit centers, which was second-hand goods. Obviously, that we buy from the public in the buy shop, and in the Long Beach Mall case, it's there at the back of the shop. At the Absa teller, you enter. There's an entrance door over there, and then we have what we call the suspensive security buys, which is just a very fancy word of the National Credit Regulator for the old pawn business. So you will bring your Rolex watch, put it on buyback, or a suspensive security buy, borrow money on it, come fetch it after 30 days. So those were the 2 profit centers that we started off. But we very early. Our directors saw that, you know, when you have 3 or 4 second-hand radios on the retail floor, and you sell them all on a Saturday morning, then you have nothing to sell. And I think any motor dealership will tell you, you know, you sell a car, it's good news, but you have to find something to fill that gap. Because you're not going to sell a gap. So we looked very early on. Our directors look at starting to, you know, at import product from overseas. And, you know, long story short, they started the import company, and very, very small. It started in a double garage. Today, it's got warehouses all over the country, massive warehouse here in Muizenberg, and, you know, also up in Gauteng, Midrand, and Durban, and Port Elizabeth. And yeah, we have in-house brands, which we call it our new goods. We are very proud of the selection of new goods that we've developed over the years, that we import fantastic brand names, all in-house, and a lot of value to be added at wonderful prices. You know, musical instruments, DJ equipment, you know, home appliances, tools. The list carries on. So basically, the split now in our business as well, depending on the market demand, is basically 60-40 in favor of second-hand goods. I think Long Beach Mall is closer to 50-50 between new and second-hand goods. And so that's the third profit center then. So it's new goods, second-hand goods, and the buyback system that we have. And those are the three profit centers and the profit centers that we nurse. And it seems to be very popular with our customers.
All right. Now, lockdown had a big effect on your business, but the brand itself still stands. It's still strong. I mean, it's going to take a lot more than COVID-19 to knock the stuffing out of a brand like Cash Crusaders. But every business is unique, and every market is unique, and every demographic is unique. So a business catering to this area is going to be different to a business, for argument's sake, catering to an area in somewhere like Mornington. There's a different demographic. The stuff that comes through the back door, tell people, because people will think, oh, you know what, I can just clear out my junk and I can put it all in the back of the bucket and I can take it down to Cash Crusaders. Is that how it works, or are you a bit more selective than just that?
Yeah, Richard, that's a brilliant question. It's normally the question that I get around the Braaivleis fire. Your comment on the market is absolutely spot on, Richard. You know, I own 5 Cash Crusaders stores and very diverse communities. You know, the Long Beach Mall being one, Wynberg, Rossi Park, Parklands on the other side of Cape Town, and then Kraaifontein. And I promise you, the product offer from those markets are very, very different. Okay, granted, my Grassy Park and Parkland stores do have furniture sections as well, so that's a little bit of a difference. But not only what is offered to us in terms of sales, but also, you know, what the customers buy from us. So every market, most definitely very, very different. And we you know, your question in terms of what do we buy, I think the simplest answer for that, Richard, will really be, if I can sell it, then I can buy it.
Okay.
You know, if it's not too big, I can't buy your motor car because I don't have anywhere to park that. So obviously that's a no-no. And I'm not going to buy your broken toaster because if I sell it, I need to put a warranty on it. So, you know, we have to cover our bases. The Second-Hand Goods, the Consumer Protection Act protects clients from buying second-hand goods as well. We have to provide a 6-month warranty on every product that we buy. So, you know, we're not going to take the junk. We don't clear. We know we are a high-value second-hand retailer. But we invite customers to make contact with us and tell us this is what is on offer. And often customers are surprised and say, I never thought you'd take this. And we say, no, we have a huge market for this. And that's the unique thing about, you know, a third world country like ours, Richard. There's a huge market for value proposition new goods in terms of our home appliances and our musical instruments and DJ equipment, tools, all of that. But interestingly enough, our second-hand goods appeals to a far wider market than our new goods. We get clients from all the income groups to come and browse for quality second-hand goods, to look for the interesting stuff. And we always say we are the interesting shop in Long Beach Mall. And I often appreciate when I sit in the Long Beach Mall office at the back, you know, I can hear customers on the retail floor, and I often get the gentlemen on their phone saying to their wives, you know, don't worry, I'm here in Cash Crusaders. You can come and pick me up in Cash Crusaders when you're done. Because the guys are shopping around for the second-hand bargains, be it a power tool or maybe something interesting for his bar or just sound equipment or whatever. But we appeal to a very wide market when it comes to our second-hand goods.
It's a very interesting thing because I've often found myself personally doing just that, just browsing. And then you come across something.
Richard, let me tell you a little secret here. Maybe I shouldn't give this away. I'm not a shopper. I hate going to a shop. When I'm in a shop, I'm in and out. I get what I need and I leave. But so retail, as a customer, retail doesn't appeal to me. But back in 1998, when I lived in Oudtshoorn in my first business, we had to go to George once a month to buy supplies for our business. We had a little industrial laundry. And every month that I went to George, I said to my wife, I have to go to this new place. It's called Cash Crusaders. And they were only 1 year old at that time. And one day I stood in Cash Crusaders, and every month I went there. I hardly bought anything, but it was just interesting to go there. And I remember the ones I said to my wife, you know, if these guys can get me not only to shop, but to come back to their store every month, then there must be something to this concept. And that's why That's how I started to look at Cash Crusaders.
Personal experience.
Yep.
Well, I've often walked in there not intending to buy anything, and then you see something that is at like, it may be a power tool, it may be whatever the item is, and you think to yourself, this is at a good price. The comparative price new is probably 3 times this. I might not need it right now, but when I do need it and I come back here, it's probably going to be sold. I'm going to take it now and buy it. And I can tell you there are a lot of...
Richard, when I started in the business, I had a partner. I had a partner for the first 7 years, and he was an experienced Spur guy. He was already in Spur for 30 years. He's still in Spur, and with the Spur restaurants. And you know, he taught me valuable business lessons. And he said to me, "You never ever take something from your shop without paying for it. Never. Yeah. You can give yourself a discount, but when you take something from your business, you pay for it." So to this day, I see something in the business, I go to the till, I pay for it, and the customers will attest to that. I often joke and say they wouldn't even give me discounts. But I promise you, once a year, I have to look at everything that I've bought in my house, and I don't need all this. I take it all back to Cash Crusaders.
Then you're at the back door.
And then I sell it back to my staff.
Francois, coming out of the lockdown now, you opened up, and I see that it's not only you. I'm looking at the Cash Crusaders website here, and there's a big banner that says our businesses are open.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing anything special to bring customers back through the doors? Is there anything that's on promotion that is, or is there any sort of drive for people who are probably without income, who need to find a place to raise income, and maybe they've got something you can buy from them that will help them sort of through the next couple of weeks? Is there anything special going on there?
Man, Richard, I'm so excited to answer this question, and I'm afraid we might run out of time.
That's fine.
First of all, the lockdown was a massive blow, like any business. You go at first and you say, no, this will never happen to us, never happen to us. And then you go, oh, this is going to be 17 days, and oh, this is going to be 30 days. And then, you know, more than that. And you speak to the bank, and how are we going to run the overheads? And it's all sorts of negotiations. It wasn't really a very peaceful time for a business owner. But, you know, we negotiated our way through it. I said to my staff from the start, I said, here's the goal. We are going to reopen, and we are going to have 0 job losses. That's the goal. That's our focus. And we will do what is needed to continue in business and not retrench any of our staff. And I'm very glad to say that even after 2 months of lockdown, or more than that, I'm not going to retrench anybody.
Wonderful.
In fact, we are going to employ more people, and I can see that coming. Richard, we have 2 fantastic projects running. The first is we had a goal as a group to go with a fully online product for our clients, retail as well as the buy shop, as well as the suspensive security buys in 2021. And we had our goals and our developers, and everything was set to sort of launch that in the new financial year in 2021. However, this lockdown provided time, and the programmers and the project leaders just worked 24/7, and we had weekly consultation meetings with other franchisees, myself included. And we are proud to say that we are going to have a full online product by the middle of July. Wow. It's already available. There's a bit of brick and mortar still involved in it, but we're going to have the pay gate, the shopping basket, the full lot. That is what the lockdown has allowed us to do, and it's going to give our clients so much more options in terms of doing business with us. So we're really, really looking forward to that. But in terms of specials, I just before this interview, I saw the mail from our directors, and again, you know, I must always compliment them for being proactive and being one step ahead. We have a wonderful promotion starting on the 12th of June. I'm not going to give away too much about that, but I looked at some of the products, for example, a power bank, and I thought, oh, I paid double for my power bank, and this is also going to be 20,000 milliampere. So yeah, there's going to be wonderful products available from the 12th of June in terms of our special offer, reopening offer. And you know, customers who are cash trapped at the moment, you have 2 options. Go through what you have, and there will be something that you can put into cash, that you can turn into cash. You know, if it's too big, we can come to your house, just phone the shop, speak to Bjorn, and we will arrange for our buyer to come out to your house, and we will see to how we can turn it into cash for you. Or then if you just need bridging capital for 30 days or so, bring that high value item and put it on buyback, do a pawn transaction on it, and you can collect it again after 30 days. And if you don't have the capital after 30 days, you can always extend it for another 30 days and then collect it after 60 days. But there are options available. I often say to the guys at the Falsebay Business Network, look, my business is the only business where you can walk out with cash in your pocket. So make use of it.
Yeah. So there's those to look forward to. And folks, what I would suggest is that you do like Francois says, look at those items that are just gathering dust and could be turned into cash. And, they say that there's, what is that saying? One man's meat is another man's poison, or something like that. There's always something that you see no value in that somebody else is going to see tremendous value in. And Cash Crusaders is the place where you can bring those two people together without actually even meeting. But that transaction then can take place. So I think it's a brilliant business concept. And Francois, thank you for your time this afternoon. Is there any last words, anything that contact details that you want to leave with people?
Yeah, Richard, it's all on the website. Really, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to you and the opportunity that you offer businesses to come on the radio and explain to our local community and clients what we do and what we offer and how we can serve them and how we can serve them better. I think this is a very important time for consumers to support local. Definitely. And to support South African and to support small business owners, and I include myself. I have bought a few vouchers from restaurants around the valley to use after reopening, because I can tell you there's a lot of small business owners out there that's going through extremely tough times, and most of the times they are employers and they're trying to protect the jobs of the employees. But thank you for this, Richard, and thank you for your contribution.
You're welcome, and thank you for your time. Judy is on the WhatsApp here. For those who don't know, Judy is my partner, and our home is up in Maritzburg, as you well know. And she says we have loads of stuff we can go through and sell. No, we are not selling my stuff. I'm a little bit of a hoarder, I'm afraid. But yeah, Francois, thank you so much for. And most of that stuff that she's talking about, Francois, I bought at your shop. I just want you to know that, eh?
Well, kudos to you. Well done.
When I had no intention to buy anything, I bought it at your shop. It's now there. She wants to sell it back to you. All right, Francois, thank you very much, and good luck going forward. And well done on keeping your staff and the prospect of employing further staff in the future. You are certainly a beacon in the valley, and your business is a shining light. So thank you very much for spending time with us this afternoon and telling folk how everything works. And stay strong and keep on keeping on.
Thanks, Richard. We'll chat again.
We will do indeed. That was Francois. He is from Cash Crusaders, and you'll find them in the mall. As you go in down towards Pick and Pay on the right next to F&B, across from the bottle store, which lots of people are visiting at the moment. You can also go and visit Cash Crusaders just across the way, and you can go and support the local business.